Okay, hello everyone. Ang lecture natin ngayon tungkol sa cognitive psychology. Pag-uusapan natin attention in the classroom. The main issue I want to tackle in this lecture is kanino bang responsibilidad naka-point yung pag-sustain ng attention inside the classroom. And kung tinatanong mo kanino, dalawang characters lang naman yan inside the classroom, estudyante ba or teachers? Which is a very important issue in the field of education, even in CogPsych, kasi yung attention, ito yung dito nakasalalay whether or not learning will successfully happen. So ang issue dito, sino ba dapat ang nag-i-initiate ng attention? Estudyante ba or teacher? Sasagutin natin yan as we go along. So hindi ko lang sasagutin to as we go along, i-justify ko rin kung bakit yon ang tamang sagot. Okay? So simulan natin by defining what attention is according to the APA. Ito raw ang definition ng attention. Medyo technical yung definition ng attention, and you know me, ayoko ng masyadong technical definitions. I want a simpler one. So you can just take the definition given by Sternberg. Siya yung author ng textbook na ginagamit sa cognitive psychology in most schools, no? So ito ang simpler definition ni Sternberg of what attention is. Given this definition, a more popular term for attention is your ability to focus. So kapag narinig nyo yung word na focus, ito yung popular term from the technical term in the psychological language called attention. At lahat tayo may abilidad to focus, isa yan sa mga cognitive skills natin. In fact, let me just give you an exercise para i-practice nyo yung pag-focus ninyo. Okay? I want you to focus on this thing that I am holding. Anong kulay ng hinahawakan ko? Maliit ba o malaki itong hinahawakan ko? Anong shape ng hinahawakan ko? The only way you can answer those questions is when you focus on what I am holding. Which is again, anong ibig sabihin ng focus? According to Sternberg, binibigyan mong pansin yung isang bagay habang ini-ignore mo, ini-screen out mo yung iba pa. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng yellow words dito. That's what it means to focus. You pay attention to one thing or a set of things while you ignore some others. And according to studies in CogPsych, your ability to focus is a very important psychological skill. Bakit siya mahalaga? Because it can affect your overall quality of life. Specifically, sabi ng mga studies, mas magaling mag-focus ang tao, mas nagiging maganda yung quality of life. To be more specific, sabi ng mga researchers, ang mga taong magagaling mag-focus, number one, mas nagiging maganda yung physical health, which makes sense. Kasi focus na focus ka sa health mo, wina-watch out mo lagi yung blood pressure mo, yung timbang mo, gusto mo focus ka lang sa cholesterol mo na hindi masyadong mataas, ano nangyayari? Gumaganda yung physical health mo. Kasi nakafocus ka sa good health. So hindi ka nadidistract, na kung ano-ano yung kinakain mo, kung ano-ano yung mga bisyo na ginagawa mo, you maintain your good physical health. Studies show that those employees na maganda ang focus sa trabaho, gumaganda rin yung job performance. People who focus a lot sa mga relationships nila, mas gumaganda yung quality of relationships. Dahil focus ka sa mga karelasyon mo, you become familiar on the things that they need. At dahil alam mo ano yung mga pangangailangan nila kasi nakafocus ka sa kanila, nabibigay mo yon. And the more you are able to give those needs ng mga tao na karelasyon mo, the more you strengthen your relationships with those people. And of course, in relation to our lecture today, according to studies, ang mga taong magaling mag-focus, maganda rin ang performance in the school. At marami tayong mga pag-aaral to support that claim. One article I highly recommend you read is this one. At marami pang mga studies na katulad nito nagpapakita that the more you focus, the more you sustain attention inside the classroom, mas dumadami yung mga academic achievements mo. Kaya ang estudyante nagiging cum laude, summa cum laude, kaya sila matataas ang grades, kaya magaganda yung mga projects na ginagawa nila because they have the ability to sustain their attention in the classroom setting. So overall, maganda sa psychological system natin na maganda yung focus natin. Even the Bible agrees with that claim, no, coming from cognitive psychology. Pinopromote ng Bible na ang tao dapat maganda ang focus. Ayaw ng Bible na ang tao distracted. For example, in Proverbs, sinabi ni Solomon yan, "Let your eyes look straight ahead, fix your gaze directly before you." Those terms reflect focus. Pag sinabi mong your eyes straight ahead, you fix your gaze, focus ang tinuturo dyan. Huwag ka raw titingin sa left, huwag ka raw titingin sa right, because usually, when you do that, that's when evil happens. Pag nawala ka sa focus, maraming pangit na mangyayari sa psychological system mo. Kaya hindi maganda na ang tao spiritually distracted. Even in the book of James, sinabi rin yan, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Maraming nasisira sa buhay natin if we lose focus. One example, marriage. Kapag hindi ka focus sa asawa mo, na dapat siya lang mahal mo, siya lang dapat ang special sa'yo, marriage suffers. Kaya kapag nagkakaroon ng infidelity in a married relationship, ano ang one of the reasons ba't nangyari yon? Nawala sa focus yung cheater. Meron na siyang ibang focus. Naging divided na, naging double na yung mind niya. Yung mind number 1 niya, mahal yung asawa niya. Yung mind number 2 niya, mahal na naman niya yung isa, nasira yung pamilya. So it's not a good thing to be a double-minded person. Kahit sa teachings ni Kristo, sinabi rin niya yan, we need to practice our focus against all kinds of greed. Dapat mag-focus lang tayo sa contentment. Because if we lose focus, we keep on looking on the things that we don't have. Ano nangyayari? Greed enters our psychological system, nasisira yung peace of mind natin. Even the Apostle Peter wrote about that. We need to focus, we need to stay alert against who? The enemy. Isa yan sa mga trabaho ng devil to tempt us to do things that we are not supposed to do that destroy our psychological system. So dapat, sabi ni Peter, focus lang tayo sa tama. Focus tayo na baka tinetempt na tayo ng devil to do things that we should not be doing. So ang bottom line ng mga biblical passages na ito is the Bible promotes good attention, which is in line with what psychology has discovered, na maganda sa buhay ng tao, na maganda ang focus natin. Okay? Now, after everything I've mentioned about attention, gusto ko lang i-establish itong super basic principle na to, which will help us answer the question we are answering right now. Okay? The basic principle is we control our attention. 100% yung attention natin, tayo ang nagde-determine kung saan yan pupunta. In fact, if you don't believe me, let me demonstrate this. Ready? I want you to look to your left. And then, pagtingin mo sa kaliwa mo, pili ka ng mga top 3 objects that you can see on your left. Focus kayo sa mga objects na yon. Object 1, then object 2, then object 3. Next, from the left, you move to your right. Pili kayo ng 3 objects that you can see on your right. Isa-isahin mong i-focus yung mga objects na yon. Object 1, then you move on to object 2, then you move on to object 3. What's the lesson from that exercise? Sino ang nagdetermine whether you will look left or right? Kayo. When I told you to look left, you have chosen to look left. But you could have chosen to do otherwise. Right? But at the end of the day, ikaw ang nag-decide na mag-focus sa isang direction, whether left or right. Focusing on objects 1, 2, and 3, ikaw ang magde-decide where your attention is going. And this framework of looking at attention, this principle is in line with the definition by Sternberg. Diba sinabi ni Sternberg sa definition niya, ang attention pala is an active process. Ibig sabihin, ng active process, tayo ang nagde-determine. Tayo ang nagko-control where our attention will go. You are responsible for your own attention. This is one of the most important basic principles anyone should know about the nature of attention, lalong-lalo na kung psychology major ka. Ikaw ang may control ng attention mo. At the end of the day, you decide where your attention will go. Although, of course, may mga objections na ibibigay dyan na paano naman yung mga taong mayroong condition that they have difficulty controlling their attention. Kaya nga meron tayong condition called ADHD. That is a valid situation. That is a valid condition, I mean. Pero in this lecture, Hindi naman kasi tayo abnormal psychology, no? We focus on the condition where walang ganong condition. Ang pinag-uusapan natin dito is yung mga tao na merong 100% control of their attention. Maybe we will just discuss ADHD in another lecture sa abnormal psychology. But for the meantime, this principle is at work for people without any attention condition. Okay? Now, we can begin to answer that question. Again, baka nalimutan nyo na ano yung issue na tinatakil natin ngayon. Kaninong responsibilidad yung pag-sustain ng attention inside the classroom? Okay? Now, inside the classroom, as we already know, no, the process of learning highly depends on the level of attention that students pay. Kung matututo ang mga estudyante o hindi, depende yan sa kung gaano sila kagaling mag-pay attention. Now, here's one of the most popular questions in the field of education in connection to attention and learning. Should teachers get students' attention? Kailangan ba yung teacher, obligado ba kami na kapag nagturo kami, kukunin namin yung attention ng estudyante? Before I answer this, okay, let me just familiarize you na may mga estudyante or marami mga estudyante meron silang hidden expectations in connection to this issue. And what is that expectation? That my teacher has to get my attention so I will learn the lesson. Hindi naman lahat ng estudyante ganyan, but from my 15 years of teaching, based on my experience, almost 90+% of students, ito ang expectation. It is my teacher's responsibility to get my attention so I will listen to the lesson. And the moment the teacher fails, kapag hindi nagawa ng maayos ni sir, ni ma'am, etong expectation ng estudyante, lagot ang teacher sa evaluation. Kaya anong mababasa nyo sa mga evaluation coming from students na sa feeling nila hindi na-meet ng teacher yung ganitong expectation, they give negative comments. Ano sasabihin sa evaluation? Boring si sir, hindi nakaka-encourage makinig kay sir, nakakaantok magturo yung teacher. Unfortunately, many students, kapag ganyan yung thinking, ginagawa nilang justification yan para hindi makinig doon sa tinuturo ng teacher. Dahil si sir, dahil si ma'am, boring magturo, justified ako to do something else. One good example would be this one, yung nangyari during the pandemic. Habang may teacher na nag-online class, may estudyante na limutang mag-mute, may ginagawang ibang bagay. And this is not only true in an online setup, even inside the classroom, nangyayari yan. Marami mga estudyante nakabukas lang yung laptop, pero yung laman ng laptop hindi related doon sa lesson. And what justifies them? What is the reason that they give to themselves para gumawa ng ibang bagay other than the lesson? Kasi boring magturo eh. Kasi wala siyang ginagawa to get my attention, kaya I'm justified doing something else. So yung ganyang thinking is very unproductive for student learning. Kaya, ang nagiging epekto nito, no, yung ganyang expectation coming from students, ang nagiging effect niyan sa teachers is, may mga teachers, they become forced to be entertainers. Which, by the way, are two different things. Iba ang pagiging teacher sa pagiging entertainer. Pwedeng mag-overlap. May mga teachers that are entertaining, but strictly speaking, these are two different categories. Magkaiba ng job descriptions yan. Ang focus ng teaching is more on the cognitive side, while entertaining it's more on the tickling of the emotional side. Don't get me wrong, hindi ibig sabihin sa education walang role ang emotion. Meron. Kaya nga tayo may holistic education, but to tickle one's emotions is not the main goal of education. May hierarchy yan eh. Primarily ang education talaga, it's more on the cognitive side before anything else. Okay? So marami mga teachers, dahil sa gusto nila makakuha ng higher evaluation, gusto sila ng mga students, na force ngayon ng mga teachers to convert themselves from teachers to become entertainers. So many teachers today are doing things that they should not be doing in the first place. Nakakadagdag pa yan sa load ng trabaho ng teacher. Hindi pa sapat na mag-prepare ka ng lesson plan, hindi pa sapat na mag-prepare ka ng slides mo for your lesson, dapat meron ka ring gimmick. Dapat meron ka ring mga activities para yung mga estudyante sa classroom mo sumaya at makinig sa'yo so that they will give you your attention. But then again, I go back to that principle na in-establish ko kanina, if we are responsible for our own attention, if students are responsible for their own attention, then you would realize, I hope you do, na yung mga ganyang statements are senseless. Hindi tamang sabihin. In the student's perspective, if you are responsible for your own attention, senseless na sabihin mo yung mga ganyang statements. In fact, let me use an analogy para mas maintindihan nyo yung sinasabi kong point dito, no? Halimbawa, meron kang nararamdaman physically, nag-consult ka sa isang doktor. So, yung doktor, binigyan ka ng series of tests, balik ka raw after 1 week para ma-analyze niya yung results sa mga test na kinuha mo. Fast forward, after a week, tinawagan ka ng doktor, nandyan na raw yung results, and you did. Pumunta ka sa opisina ng doktor, pinaupo ka niya, and the doctor begins discussing the results of the test that you have taken para ma-explain kung bakit mo ba nararamdaman yung mga yon in your body. Now, here's my question. In that situation, kailangan pa ba ng doktor na kunin yung attention mo para makinig ka sa mga sasabihin niya? Sagot, hindi. Kasi alam mo, lahat ng sasabihin ng doktor in that situation, mahalaga para sa'yo. Health mo kasi yon. Buhay mo yon. Alam mong mahalaga yung mga sasabihin niya, so there's no need for the doctor to get your attention. Ikaw na mismo yung magbibigay ng attention mo doon sa doktor. Baka nga maglabas ka pa ng notebook at ballpen para ililista mo yung mga sasabihin niya because it's so important. Now, given that analogy, in the same way, ganun din dapat sa classroom. Kaya for those students who are listening to me, yan ang tamang attitude when you enter the classroom. The fact that you paid your tuition fee, the fact that you entered the classroom and chose to sit on that class in that particular day, in that particular time, anong assumption? Alam mo na mahalaga yung subject na yon. And so, ang response mo dapat, pagpasok ng teacher at bumukas ang bibig niya at nagturo na siya, dapat ang response mo para kang ganito. Para kang pasyente na ninanamnam mo lahat ng sinasabi ng doktor because you know that's something important for you. Ganyan ang tamang attitude in the classroom. So dito pa lang, alam niyo na yung sagot ko sa question that we are tackling right now. Kaninong responsibilidad nakasalalay ang paying attention in the classroom? I would place it on the students. Hindi responsibilidad ng teacher na kunin yung attention ng students. Ang mga students na mismo dapat ang magbibigay ng attention sa mga teachers. Kaya nga going back to that slide, should teachers get students' attention? Ang sagot ko, not necessary. Take note, ang sagot ko, not necessary. Hindi ko sinabing no. Hindi ko sinabi na ang mga teachers in all situations, hindi nila dapat kinukuha yung student attention. I'm not saying that. Ang sinasabi ko, not necessary. Here's my point. Ang teacher, hindi siya masamang teacher simply because wala siyang pa-games. Wala siyang prizes. Hindi siya masamang teacher kasi wala siyang pa-sounds. Hindi kayo pinakaraoke. Kasi monotone siya magturo. Ang teacher, hindi siya masamang teacher kasi wala siyang gimmick para ma-entertain ng mga students. These things should not determine a bad teacher. Nagigets nyo? Yun yung point ko. Again, a small reminder, gentle reminder for students, a teacher is not the same as an entertainer. These are two entirely different categories. Maybe they overlap. Okay? Ang teacher pwede maging entertainer. An entertainer in a way can also teach. But in terms of job description, in terms of function, in terms of priority, magkaiba ang teacher sa entertainer. Okay? And also, a gentle reminder, please lang, especially the students listening right now, no, wag nating i-equate yung kagalingan ng teacher sa ability niya to entertain. Kasi maraming students ganyan eh. Yung standard nila na magaling na teacher, ibig sabihin ng magaling na teacher is they are good entertainers. Again, these are two different categories. Marami mga teachers magaling, but they are not entertaining. In the same way, marami mga teachers entertaining, pero hindi naman talaga magaling. Marami lang siyang jokes, marami lang siyang pa-games. Tawa lang kayo ng tawa sa subject niya. Pero hindi ibig sabihin nun nahihit yung learning outcomes nung subject. Okay? So please don't equate the ability to entertain to the teacher's ability to teach because these are two different things. Okay? Pero, again baka ma-misinterpret nyo ako. For those teachers who are doing these things, anong sinasabi ko? Ihinto ba? Hindi. Kaya nga sabi ko dito, not necessary. Yun yung ibig sabihin ko dito ng not necessary. Okay? For those teachers na ginagawa pa rin yung numbers 1 to 5, anong dapat natin gawin? Let's appreciate them. Kudos to you. Because you are going out of your way just to do these things na hindi na naman talaga necessary pang dapat gawin. But since yung passion for teaching is there, since the love for students is there, ginagawa pa rin to, I highly appreciate those teachers. Ang point ko lang dito is, pwede pa rin gawin niya mga yan, but it's not necessary. Diba? Ang teacher, after all, pwedeng magaling na, entertaining pa. Swerte mo pag ganyan yung teacher mo. Pero kung yung teacher nagkataon, magaling lang pero hindi entertaining, hindi ibig sabihin nun masama siyang teacher. Hindi necessity na ang teacher dapat entertaining just to get students' attention. In the first place, ang mga estudyante na dapat mismo ang nagkukusa to pay attention whenever they are inside the classroom. Kaya again, ulitin ko lang, anong sagot ko? Kaninong responsibilidad ang attention inside the classroom? I place it on the students. Kaya for those students na ito yung mga comments, sa mga teachers nila, boring si sir, that's on you. Gumawa ka ng paraan para sa pananaw mo, hindi maging boring yung teacher mo. Hindi ka na-encourage makinig, responsibilidad mo na i-encourage yung sarili mo para makinig sa teacher mo. Nakakaantok magturo yung teacher mo, matulog ka ng maaga para pag nagtuturo yung teacher mo, hindi ka inaantok. Because again, your attention is your responsibility. One last case in point, just to support what I'm saying here, tingnan nyo sa mga Latin honors. Tuwing graduation, may magmamarcha sa stage. Kaninong credit yung pagiging summa cum laude? Students or teachers? Ang sagot, students. Bakit? Bakit sa mga students ang credit ng mga Latin honors na yan? Anong ginawa nila? Anong effort ang ginawa ng mga students na yan? Kaya sila yung deserving ng honors na yan because they exerted effort in such a way, they paid attention to their teachers. Yan ang common denominator ng mga estudyanteng may ganyang titles. Lahat yan, magagaling sila sa sustained attention. Kaya sila naging magaling sa academics. Again, we have researches to support that. I highly recommend you read this article. Dito ako nanggagaling. The more you pay attention, the better you are in your school achievement. Kaya sila naging ganyan. Kaya kapag binibigyan natin sila ng titles, we credit it to them. Binibigyan namin kayo ng ganitong title to appreciate your effort for the past years, to pay attention to your academics in spite difficulty paying attention in this culture. Sa society kasi natin yun, punong-puno tayo ng distractions Nandyan ang social media, nandyan yung kung ano-ano mga issues in the society that distract us. Yet, these students have paid attention so well. Kaya itong mga medals na to, itong mga titles na ito, sa inyo to. Yun ang tamang framework. Mali, yung sabihin mo na, kaya cum laude yung mga yan, kaya summa cum laude yung mga yan, kasi yung mga teachers nila, ang gagaling kumuha ng attention. See? Kasi kung ganyan yung thinking mo, huwag natin bigay yung award sa estudyante. Ibigay natin yung award sa mga teachers na magaling mag-entertain. Kasi kung hindi sila entertainers, hindi mapupunta sa kanila yung attention ng students, hindi sila magiging ganyan. I hope you get my point, But we don't say that. We give credit to the student kasi siya yung may responsibilidad sa sarili niyang attention, and given these kinds of students, they did that responsibility. They fulfilled that responsibility. Paying attention inside the classroom is the responsibility of the student, not of the teachers. Kaya gusto ko rin tong quote na to, in connection to our lesson today, the capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. The willingness to learn is a choice. Yung word na choice na yan, one of the choices that we make in the process of learning is the choice that we pay attention to the source of learning. Kaya as students, no, wag nating asahan na yung mga teachers pa natin yung kukuha ng attention na natin. Tayo na magkusa mismo na ibigay yung attention natin sa kanila because we know whatever they teach inside the classroom will be crucial, will be critical for our future. And by the way, na-realize ko itong definition or itong quote ni Brian Herbert is in line with the way Sternberg and Cogswell in general understands attention. Remember, attention is an active process. Pinansin mo yan kasi ginusto mong pansinin yan. Nagigets nyo? So, if that's the right framework of attention, it's an active process, it's senseless, it's mindless to expect that teachers should get your attention for you to learn. You determine your own learning by deciding that you pay attention to what you want to learn. So, sana maging magandang aral to, no, sa mga students na nakikinig ngayon, even teachers na nakikinig in this lecture. Alright? So if you have any questions or comments or other examples, ilagay nyo lang dyan sa comment section. Sana marami kayong natutunan in this short lecture. Sir Howard here. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.